If I get in collision with a guy, it don't have to be Magic. It could be Joe Smoke.
The steady drumbeat of criticism from his fellow players. They were telling reporters they were afraid to play with Johnson.
I was scared to death.
November 7th, 1991. Because of the...
Wait. So you thought courage meant fear disappeared? Like the hands of the never shake. That voice of courage doesn't break. Like they never hear that voice whispering, run away. I guess you've been taught courage the wrong way.
The world of sports.
The story shook every note in a national court of sports worship and social policy.
See, maybe that's why you're ashamed of your name. Because you spent your dang days scared. Scared of the bills. Scared of the call. Scared that one more hit might be your final fall. Scared she's really gone. Scared she met a better man and moved the F on. Scared you've been lost for so damn long. And there's no road left that leads you home. So you sit there, lights low, curtains closed, blowing smoke, phone glowing from the past, scrolling, just so your mind won't go where it goes in and day out, back to darkness like 2:04 a.m. Back to who you were, back to what you lost, back to every bridge you burned and every boundary you cross. You think you're weak or soft because fear tiptoes with you in the dark. Shh, listen to me. If there's nothing to fear, how would courage even have the courage to breathe?
I was scared to death.
Fear and courage aren't enemies. They're brothers born from the same energy. One tells you stay down, and the other says stand up and face that memory. Fear says don't call. Courage says dial. Fear says you've been gone too long. Courage says stay a while. Fear says they'll see the shame in your face. Courage says let them see it and walk in faith. Because courage isn't fear dying, it's fear residing while you're grabbing the wheel with fear in the passenger seat riding. It's you deciding. Fear doesn't get the final say. No, not today.
Another chapter in my life that it's like being, your back is against the wall. And I think that you just have to come out swinging, and I'm swinging.
And I know what fear looks like in this room. It isn't always panic. Sometimes it's delay. I'll call tomorrow. I'll change on Monday. I'll get clean someday. It's typing, can we talk? Then erasing every word you want to say. It's driving all the way there and still being too afraid to open the door and staring in the bathroom mirror from the door. Can't get too close. Avoiding dilated pupils in your own eyes because you told everybody else you're okay, I'm all right. And you're tired of telling yourself the same lie, believing it's right. Fear could wear silence. Fear could wear pride. Fear could sound like I'm prepared to fight. When what you really mean is I'm crying inside.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
Now look at Magic, not the legend you know, not the movie theater Magic, not the Starbucks partner Magic, not the billionaire Magic. Go back, stay in that room for a while. A diagnosis, a career changing instantly, a wife at home, a family, a future that suddenly didn't feel guaranteed. Millions watching, questions coming, are you gonna live? How does it feel to feel everything you thought was real turn dark like a movie reel? Rumors running, and still, he walked in positive. So tell me, was courage hiding because Magic wasn't afraid? Or was courage standing beside fear when he faced the world that day?
Irvin Johnson has been infected with the HIV virus.
Maybe courage shakes, maybe courage sweats, maybe courage has tears on his face and a stomach full of regret. Maybe courage sits outside of rehab or walking away from people in your past. Maybe courage has traveled 10 feet And somehow that feels further than anything he's ever walked before. Maybe courage isn't I'll win. Maybe courage is I don't know how this ends, but I'm going in. Maybe courage sounds like I'm sorry I was wrong, or I forgive you and move on. Or I need help. I can't do this alone. Maybe that's the strongest words you'll ever pass along. But it came out in a voice that barely had strength in its tone.
but held as a modern day hero.
So you thought bravery meant confidence, so you've been waiting to feel brave. Waiting for fear to leave. Waiting for shame to behave. Waiting until you trust yourself. Waiting until your heart feels whole. Waiting for some magical morning when you finally feel back in control. Meanwhile, another call goes unanswered. Another door stays closed. Another person who loves you ponders, I wonder where he been at lately. And another night gets old. And maybe fear hasn't stolen all these years. Maybe the deeper truth hurts more. You kept waiting on fear to disappear. Before you walked to the car, put the key in the ignition, and gave yourself permission to steer.
What does this mean? Am I gonna die?
So let me give you courage back. Courage isn't calm, courage isn't clean. Courage doesn't always arrive looking powerful on a screen. Sometimes courage is messy, sweaty palms, tired eyes, a cracked voice finally telling someone, I've been living a lie. Courage is fear plus one step. Fear plus one call. Fear saying just stall. And you answering no. I'll jump now and grow wings on the fall. Your heart races. On your mark, get set, go. Your knees weak, stand weak. Your voice cracks, let it crack. But speak it anyway. But speak it anyway.
Really know how many years any individual can go once they become HIV positive.
Now look at magic again. Look 30 years past that day. Look at all the mornings fear couldn't snatch away. All those rooms he hadn't entered. All those hands he hadn't shaken. All that life still waiting. When he could have believed his life had already been taken.
The HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
The man behind the microphone couldn't see this scene, couldn't see who he'd become, couldn't know what tomorrow would mean, didn't know his so-called deadly disease would help others he'd never seen. He didn't have proof, he didn't have movement, and sometimes that's all courage is asking from you, is to take a blind step.
A decade or longer before they get ill.
Now come back here to this room, to you. No cameras, no crowd, no NBA money, nobody chanting your name loud. Maybe your courage will happen quietly. Maybe no one will know you've changed. Maybe tonight it's calling for help after all the months of pain. Maybe it's throwing away the bottle instead of pouring another glass of shame. Maybe it's talking to the man in the mirror before the look in your eyes change. Maybe it's saying I need somebody tonight. Maybe it's letting someone know I haven't been all right. Maybe it's opening those curtains tomorrow, even if you fear the light. Maybe it's one small act that tells the darkness you don't own my life. And maybe nobody may clap for you. Nobody may understand. They'll only see you make the call. They won't see the war that happened between your mind and your hands. They'll watch you walk through the door. They won't know how many times you almost ran. The world sees movement. It doesn't see the battle inside the man.
But there was no greater pressure than driving home to tell her.
Hear this. Stop waiting to be fearless. Stop waiting to feel strong. Fear can scream the entire way, and you can still play deaf and move along. You don't need 10 years of courage tonight. You don't need the perfect master plan. You just need courage for the next decision you can make as this man. Feet on the floor, one breath, one trip to the store, one door, one honest sentence you were too ashamed to say before. And when fear asks, what if I fell again? Don't promise you'll win. Just look fear in the eye and say, then I'll begin again. Because everything you knew about courage, wrong. The brave man isn't fearless. His heartbeat hears the same dark song. His chest still tightens. His hands still shake. His mind still asks, what if I'm making a mistake? But somewhere underneath the fear, something smaller says, move, move, move. And he does. Not because fear left, not because pain disappeared, but because courage finally whispered, you don't have to stop just because you're scared.
It's another challenge, another chapter in my life that it's like being, your back is against the wall. And I think that you just have to come out swinging, and I'm swinging. Only thing I can do is have a bright side. If I slip, then it might be over. If I'm down, if it's out, I can't be like that. I never have been. That's why I'm telling you now, today. That's why I'm here right now. And that's why I'm going to be a spokesman for the virus.
Take your meds, work out, and have a positive attitude.